Yo, yo.
What up, what up, what up, world?
How you doing, man?
Not bad, you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just just the world is still a little wild these days.
Well, it's I still feel like people are getting over cabin fever a bit still,
That's the problem. They just announced another variant, so
Oh yeah, in South America, like it sounds like it's new, but with an M instead of it's like Mew, like almost
Mew?
Mewtwo. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. All
yeah.
right. Well,
Stay
welcome.
inside, people, in those
Welcome
areas
to
that are in the problems.
what was it? We did March 32nd when it was like continuing for so long, and now it's essentially March 729.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the same.
Yeah. Shout outs to Mark who just said, "What's up, guys? It's been a minute, bruh. We're just living our best lives, trying to deal with all the insanity." Mark, who I know works at the hospital, so shout outs to you, man, because
Yeah, frontline worker.
anyone, yeah, all you frontline workers, like as much as things have gotten slightly better, you guys are still constantly dealing with this whole situation, and that to me seems just difficult. It is not easy. So shout outs and kudos to all the frontline workers as we continue dealing with the unfortunateness that is the pandemic. I feel like this is an episode from last year because we're still talking about it. It's crazy when we think. I was listening back to something from last year and we were talking about the pandemic and I'm like, God, it's September 1st, 2021, and we're still talking about it. But such is the case. I wanted to tell you guys real quick. I know if you guys are watching this on YouTube, very much appreciate it. If you guys were trying to watch it on Twitch, today is is a day off of Twitch. It's a boycott that's happening today, September 1st, because a lot of gamers are asking for Twitch to step up. And, there's a lack of protection for marginalized groups on the platform that has gone on for too long. So they're asking people to be aware, and they're asking for people to talk about it. And Twitch has done a few things to try and address it, but a lot of people say it's not enough. And I've seen some of the clips that were posted by some of the people that have spoken up about this, and I gotta say, some of these bots, some of the racism, some of the ridiculous, disgusting things that are being said. I understand why they're saying like you can't just let it be like this.
But because I didn't realize this was a problem. In what capacity? Because you're also saying bots. You're saying people are making bots,
yeah,
to like harass people.
Yep. Yes, 100%.
No way.
Shout outs to Cray Prince.
You know how sad that is in this day and age. I'm
not
sorry
shocked that people do stuff like that. It's just
like, do you have nothing better to do?
No, they really don't. That's the whole point. They genuinely do not have anything better to do. They 100% feel like it's within their right to just make other people's lives miserable. They get off on it, and unfortunately, I think they also get off on people being upset about it. So it's almost like a double-edged sword, because if you don't address them, they'll keep doing it because they enjoy it. If you do address them, they'll keep doing it because they know it's getting to you. So I think it really does come down to Twitch has to jump in and start helping to stop these types of things from happening. And until Twitch does more, then I think they're going to have a lot of gamers who are going to say like, hey, you guys aren't helping protect us or creating a space. Like, I used to say this about hockey, and I know a lot of people used to tell me like, well, hockey is a contact sport. So when people are bashing into each other, that's just how the sport is. But I feel like at a certain point, you do have to say, well, it's a contact sport.
That was excessive.
Yeah, like there's an excess of it. This is the same thing in Twitch. Yeah. It's one thing to say like, gamer culture is like this. There are people who are like this in gamer culture. They're going to act like this. They're going to be disrespectful. They're going to be crude. It's the internet. You can't really get rid of trolls. Fine, I understand that. But you can try and curb their interest in doing it by making it so difficult that it's not even fun for them. Like, it's not fun to troll if there's a lot of limitations and they have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops to do it. Sure, some of them will take it as a challenge and will try and figure out ways to do it. But if anything, I think it will help reduce the amount of trolling and amount of attacking and, like hate raids and stuff like that people do on Twitch streamers accounts.
But couldn't they? And I'm talking about, I've never had a Twitch account. I don't really use Twitch. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, we
but
use it
like,
here for the show, but other than that,
yeah, but I mean, like, I don't participate in Twitchdom stuff, but
yeah.
like, couldn't you have like and I maybe this is asking too much of the users, uh, couldn't they have like a person who controls who's on
They
in
do.
their
Some of
stream,
them have
and then
moderators. Yeah, yeah,
moderators?
yeah.
That was the word I was looking
Yeah,
for.
Sasha Gray was on a podcast with a Stevie Weeby, the Stevie Weeby show, and she was talking about the fact that she has on her Twitch some of the best moderators. She has a whole team of people that help her work on this stuff to try to limit that type of those types of attacks and those types of just space that just to
Mhm.
limit the unfortunateness of just being on the internet. And she says she has one of the best teams and she loves them for it because they don't let people just come and spam her, and they really shut stuff down and they create a better, more welcoming environment. And that's one of the other things that I don't understand. A lot of these people on Twitch who are saying, "Hey, you would get more people interested in streaming and Twitch and like live streaming and stuff like that, and playing these video games and streaming their video games if they knew they could do it without getting hated on."
Mhm.
So, as much as you have now as Twitch, the service, you could have more, but you have to find a way to step up so that people are willing to do it. But Twitch is not like high school or elementary school where we all got bullied. Like us, our
Yeah.
generation
Yeah.
went through stuff in high school and elementary school where we got bullied and we have a rough
Mhm.
time. But the internet is not like if I'm going on Twitch, I don't want to feel like I felt when I was in high school. I have no reason to. I'm an adult
Mhm.
now,
Mhm.
or even if
Yeah.
I'm a kid, I've already did my whole day at school. I don't want to also come home, start
Mhm.
streaming, and have to deal with people like hate rating or just writing slurs underneath my stream because I happen to be a streamer of color, or hell, a woman, or in some cases, you could be a white man and they're still just writing slurs on your streams. It's weird some of the
Yeah.
stuff that people
Yeah.
write. So,
But I mean, I always found it weird. You know what I always found weird about this type of stuff? Like, no matter how much of a good thing you make, or
mm,
a good space you make, or a
yeah,
good vibe, there always ends up being, and sometimes it's small, sometimes it overthrows the good thing that you did or whatever, but there's always like this hate, natural hate that humans have. I don't know if it's just like the concept that we like to have, like, we like, maybe deep down we like confrontation, and this is like the
well,
most
that's the
raw
Matrix,
version of
right?
it. Like, like, it's just, it's so
But
weird and annoying.
But that's the thing in the Matrix, right? Remember when they talk about the fact that we made a version of the Matrix that was perfect, and you guys couldn't handle it. It didn't. You didn't. You ended up falling out of it because it just seemed too perfect. So we made a version with monsters. You guys didn't like it. It was too scary. We made a version where it was perfect. You guys didn't like it. So this is where we created a balance. There's darkness, there's crime, there's you deal with the crap that's going on in the world, but at the same time you get to live. You can create your own comfort if you figure out the way to survive and be profitable or an entrepreneur and rich or stuff like that. Part of the Matrix that doesn't make sense to me though is if you made the Matrix, why would you create places that have like communist dictatorships that make everyone like
Yeah.
you created the Matrix and you created
Some of
this
you
world.
chose that when you were being loaded up. You're like,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah,
I
yeah.
want this.
Let's put you in communist China. We're
Yeah,
gonna make you Muslim, so you're a race you're a religion that they hate, and they're
Do
putting
we
you in
do we
camps.
know do we know what the version of that Matrix was though that was perfect?
I don't know. I don't know if they talk about it in the movie, like which
So
version.
chances are maybe that doesn't happen
What do you mean?
in the perfect Matrix.
What that you get put in those
Oh,
places? Oh no, of course no. The perfect
there's
Matrix.
people there who are like angry. I want to be in the slums. How dare you?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like the Matrix as a franchise is so interesting to me because obviously it very much like we're going to talk about what if, but there's so many different versions of the story that you could tell, and it'd be so interesting to see what like when the maker, whatever his name is, I don't remember the guy because you have the father of the Matrix and the mother who is that woman that Neo talks to in the park.
The
The
architect.
architect.
Architect, yeah.
Yeah. So if the architect created it, like you could have what if situations or what if story types for the Matrix universe. That's like, oh, here's what the first Matrix looked like. Here's what one of
Right,
the other
because there was
Matrix.
a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of different iterations of Neo, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Over time,
So
because Neo is
yeah.
the outlier that fits the equation. There's like, they always needed or however
Like hypothetically speaking, for the Matrix, if someone were to reboot it you should never call it a reboot. You should just call it The Matrix still, because you could easily make a reference of how there is other versions, so that people realize that like our current Matrix is still in the Matrix, but we could have a movie that has nothing related to that Matrix.
It'll still be called The Matrix, and then it'll be semicolon something.
Yeah, whatever the movie name is.
Yeah,
like exactly. Revelations or whatever the other one.
We got the name for the latest one, didn't we? Though
it wasn't Resurrection. It was
Resurrection.
Yeah, you're
was
right.
it Resurrection?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, man. So speaking of resurrections, the Holy Bible. Are we going to talk our boy Kanye and his?
I mean, we can, but our boy Skinny said he'd make it for 20 minutes from now, didn't he?
Oh, Donda is the
Kanye album.
Is a Kanye album. Ah, okay.
It's also his mom.
I was like lost for a while.
It's his mother's name, and it's his 10th studio album, and I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being in the not Hot 100, in Billboard Top 200, which would beat Eminem's record of 9 consecutive number ones on the chart. So that would be impressive. I will give that to Kanye. It would be impressive.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that Skinny's not here, because I definitely want to talk about it, because I feel like I'm in a really weird space for it, because I enjoyed the album. The music from it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I feel like you guys thought I didn't like the music. I like
thought
the music.
Everybody that was talking about it didn't like the music for some reason.
No, I like the music.
All I'm gonna say is I researched it on Google I just typed in Donda, and the first thing I saw, Rolling Stones. This is what Rolling Stones calls it. Kanye West, Donda is an album only a mother could love. So I don't know. That doesn't sound that good at all.
So my thing with it is,
that could just be some.
You know what? We're already on the
culture crap.
I'll say this:
we're already on the topic, so let's just talk.
Yeah, it's not as good as his other albums. It's not. I don't think.
What exactly for you? What is the quintessential Kanye album? Quintessential Kanye album.
Dark Twisted Fantasy. Not the.
So is okay? Yeah.
Hold on, I'm just pulling up his full discography so I can make sure I know all of them. Because unfortunately, as much as I'm a fan, I don't know every single Kanye, all 10 albums by heart, like some people do.
I'll give you some time.
Yeah, Beautiful Dark Twisted.
I do want to generally understand. Okay, cool. To me, that is probably his best album.
Yes.
I
think a lot of people think that's his best album.
It's his most vulnerable. It's his most like in depth. It feels like he took his time to craft it. Right. You could really, I don't know. I think sometimes, again, we always talk about it. Lightning in a bottle. Boom. Like you just somehow all the energy in the world makes you make that perfect thing.
Yeah.
But this album to me is a reflection of where he's at mentally, and in life. Right. Yeah, it's got his production level. Like, I'm sorry, but it's just so good at this point that even if to me some songs don't sound mixed well, I'm like, man, like, how do you even think to put all these things together and still make them sound so good, right? There's so many bangers on the album. My biggest gripe is that he did make it 27 songs. I understand why he did that as well.
27 songs. That's pretty long.
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours. It's an hour and 44 minutes, the album, the runtime.
May I ask, how long is the average album nowadays?
An average album?
Under
an
hour.
12, 13 tracks.
Yeah.
Okay. So first thing I was like, is that just a rock thing, or
no? And then you'll have a deluxe album that's like 17 tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll have
the average runtime is between, I would probably say, 30 to like 45 minutes.
Okay.
Something like that.
And even then, 45 is long now, because most people are making 2-minute songs, 2 minutes, 3-minute songs, like a little under 3-minute songs. For pop, at least.
Yeah. Man, I like short songs too. I don't really care for super long.
Well, that's one thing with this album. Some of the tracks are long.
2-minute long song. Yes, and again, the reason why I was talking about his mental and emotional state and is where he's at in life is that like it feels like this is how he chooses to express what he's feeling.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem is that people are expecting Kanye to be like rapping on every song. Right, but this is more like a better produced DJ Khaled compilation. In my opinion. Like just because he he has a I don't like Khaled, you can tell.
I know. I was gonna say I get what you're saying. I 100% understand what you're saying. It's just that because Khaled is kind of like in some circles considered low tier pop rap. It's like the comparison's unfortunate, but I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a DJ Clue, where DJ Clue wouldn't be
he'd host the mixtape or whatever.
Yeah,
he'd have a bunch of artists, exactly. But
yeah,
I think the focus here for me is just the musicality and the production. Sure. I'm not really there for the lyrics of anyone, except for one track where one rapper seems to pretty much like out rap everyone in the whole album. I think for the most part, it's just about the artistic expression and the feelings. To me, it's that on the mark. I think a lot of the hate is towards I don't know. I think it's just him not rapping or whatever it is.
For me, one of the things is if you're gonna put that much, what's the best way to say this? If you're gonna put that much excitement and I don't know, like if you're gonna put that much weight on an album by doing 3 release parties, delays, and like anticipation and build up and you know, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, and him and I were saying that he said in the end, I think that Kanye is a multimedia artist. I don't think Kanye is just a musician anymore. And then I said, yeah, I think Kanye is a multimedia artist who at some point his life became part of his art. And I think he regrets that his life became part of his art. And now he makes music from the perspective of someone who regrets that every aspect of their life is part of the art they make. And that is where the album feels like it's at, where he is trying to refocus himself as an artist, and he's finding his religion. He's dealing with his loss. He's dealing with the things in his life. And at the same time, though, because he put so much weight into what this album would mean, especially if you're going to name it for your mother who passed away, and then for it to come out and it feels, one, it's very long. Two, some of the tracks are long for no reason. Like some of the tracks are just repetitive.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the album. One thing I found, two things I found weird is that you have like because I'm just looking at some information of the album. The shortest song, Real Song, because I'm assuming there's an intro which is really short, but one song's 1 minute 44 seconds, and then the longest song is 11 minutes and 11 and a half minutes. Well, then there's another one that's 9 minutes, and like that's not bad. It could be good, but that's a lot of. And you have this thing where they do part 1 and part 2 4 times, 5 times.
There's like sketches and stuff though, because there's like interludes, not sketches, there's interludes, I should say.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you even touched on it yourself. This is like where he's at mentally and emotionally. Like some songs may feel long to you, but to him, they're just right. And he couldn't bring himself to cut songs because each song means something to him. You know what I mean? Like artistically. I get that, but it's just that you're right about the overhyping of it.
Yes.
Might have worked against him here.
Yes, very much. Yes.
Right?
I feel like this is the type of thing where, and unfortunately, because he can't do it, he needed just to drop an album out of Ghost style, just nothing announced, and just one day
he did
dropped
that
on
with the last couple projects, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's still because there's
Ghosts.
No, but those were delayed because remember that was the Good Fridays. It was going to be one every week.
Oh, right.
For a certain amount of weeks, and then one got delayed. Tiana got mad about her album. There's always
he needs to stop committing to things he can't fulfill.
Yeah,
but he wants to do everything.
Exactly,
and he overcommits probably, and then he can't fulfill the promises he's trying to. It's Kanye.
Because I see Skinny making the face.
I just want to speak to it because. Okay, not to like this means anything, but the man's born the day after me, so I might kind of be on the wavelength of Gemini he is because I also might do this. We're stupid in a way that in order to get things done, we announce wild shit so that you'll actually get your ass in gear to do it, so that you don't want to fail in front of people. That's what.
I get that though. I get the whole like
3 times.
Like when you put it out there, you're accountable. But that's a little different than what Kanye is doing.
That's the problem, because the accountability doesn't work if
it's gone because you're not doing it.
You delayed the album. Donda was supposed to come out like last year, no, not the end
2
of
years
last
ago, I think.
2 years ago. and then it got delayed, and then so I can't talk on it too much, but the people, like, I got connections in different areas, and some of the people were telling me, like, well, one of the things that they definitely did not want this album to drop at the same time as Drake's Certified Lover Boy.
Is that why? So it's believable then that his record label released it before.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, the record label would never do that. They wouldn't release it without him knowing, because
maybe they say we're doing it, and
that's the thing. He might not like it, but they probably would have told him, like, you can't keep pushing it just because you want to push it. Because look at it this way: how would they release an album that if he didn't give it to them?
Well, of course. He
had to give them the songs. They had to have all the content. They had to have all the stuff to register the ISRCs, which are the codes for all the songs that they use to keep records of the splits and stuff like that. All that information had to be created, meaning he had to give the content to them. They had to do all of that. And Skinny, was it you or someone else that told us about how many days it takes for a song to show up on Spotify?
Oh, that was me.
Okay, I don't remember who it was, but someone was explaining to me. Sorry,
T-Pain. It was T-Pain.
Oh yeah, there you go. T-Pain rant. But that's a fact, right? You can't, like, the album came out on Sunday, so it got uploaded at some point a couple days before with all the ISRC codes, with all that information and everything. And Kanye is going to turn around and say, like, well, they released it without my.
But I think you can time your releases, though, even though it's already ready to go and uploaded. I think you can time it in terms of when you choose to release it.
You can time it, but you can't do it in a shorter time frame. You could time it earlier in advance, but there's a delay.
Right.
Like, if it's supposed to come out Sunday and I put it out and I set that on Saturday and it takes 2 days for the system. No matter what date I put for Sunday, the system's going to be like, well, we can't do that by tomorrow. It's not possible.
Sure.
So that's going to come out on Monday now. And that's what I feel like Kanye is saying, like, I didn't give them permission. It's just like, Kanye, your album about Jesus came out on a Sunday and you weren't part of that decision. That seems odd to me. That's a little weird. What do you mean?
There's some part of it we're missing for sure.
Sure.
That was probably his how do you say, like, his counter, his compromise. His compromise. So they're like, we want it out now, and he's like, I'll put it out Sunday or something. Yeah. Because they weren't gonna let him put it out September 3rd.
So you're saying they forced his hand and he gave them a date out of that?
Dude,
it's possible for sure. That's
like, you have until this date, or we're putting that shit out.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll put it out Sunday.
Because I do feel that there are a couple of tracks in there that I'm like, there are a couple of choices. I was like, oh, this doesn't sound like all the way there. I wonder if, right? I definitely had those moments listening to the album.
If I'm Universal, I'm not gonna have two artists on my label, because they're technically separate, but they're still under Universal, that are that big, drop on the same day so that they're competing against each other. I don't want to do that. But
when Kanye and 50 did it, were they on the same label at the top?
No, Interscope is Sony.
I think so. Yeah.
That was whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because if I'm Universal, I'll bookend the week by putting one on Sunday and one on Friday.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then I get my sales on Sunday. Well, I get my spins, and all those spins that are counted.
He got the spins.
Good God, he got the spins. You see how many? did you guys go to Genius and see how many people looked up the lyrics for his songs? One of them was already at like 500,000 within
probably
24
off
hours.
Off the grid is what they're on. That track goes crazy.
Yeah.
It's oh my God.
I haven't heard the album.
Oh my goodness. The transition from a regular trap beat to drill. Oh, it's so Kanye made a drill track. It's so seamless, and I've listened to a lot of UK drill. This is some of the cleanest drill bass lines I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
like he's a musical genius. Like, he knows what he has the ear.
The only thing is,
it's crazy.
He just lived long enough to tell us that he was.
Hey, man.
None of them did. You know what I mean? Like,
none
of them.
That's true.
One of them was deaf. He's like, listen, I can't even talk like me. Like, so
that's crazy.
He just lived long enough to tell us. And good.
That's so true.
So at the end of the day, I think I'm not going to tell people don't check out the album. I think the album was fun. I think it's, like I said, it's a little long, so it's one of those situations where I definitely could not do one straight sitting of that album.
I wouldn't either.
And that's something that I miss, because I like being able back in the day to just listen to an album. And back in the day you could get an album like the Miseducation.
It's not that far back in the day. There are still albums recently that I was able to do that with. That
where does it sit between Yeezus and Ye for you two? Is it better than those two?
It's in between.
It's in between Yeezus and Ye.
It's a mix of like Yeezus and the work he did on like Jesus is King and Life of Pablo. It's like a mix of those three sounds he was going for. But
because I really like Life of Pablo.
It sounds like he's gotten there, like in terms of like finding where that fits.
Okay.
Sonically.
New Kirk Franklin. Cool.
But yeah,
he's supposed to produce Fabio Foreign's next album too, which would be interesting. He's supposed to produce a whole drill album. Jesus. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But
Toby, how did you feel about the fact that the swears were bleeped out?
What?
I was okay with it.
They edited the album.
A lot of people were upset. A lot of people.
Why are you upset?
I mean, because some people are just like. So here's one of the arguments I saw. Yeah. If Kanye says that he's an artist and he wants to create a piece and invites these artists, instead of bleeping out the swears, just tell the artist, I don't want swears on the album.
So here's okay. I thought about that. You can't stop the artist's flow. You can't mess with their vibe.
But let them do it.
Tell them ahead. He for sure told them ahead of time.
If anything, that's a respectful way to do things.
Yeah, man. I am the same way. If I send someone a beat or something to work on, unless I have an idea for a hook, I do not say anything because you end up. It's what I mean. Like it's not coming from them anymore. It's
Let their creative mind flow. Exactly. Don't try and restrict it in a box.
Now, if they send it back and you don't really kind of like that shit, then I got notes.
Yeah, then you're a producer. But that's it. Yeah. But that's the thing. For me, Kanye's a producer. So my thinking is, if Kanye's a producer and has a certain vision for the album, let people know so that they can try and adjust to that. And if they really can't adjust to that, then I don't know. But bleeping out swears was weird. It was
honestly
weird.
he picked the perfect artist for each track. Like he picked the perfect artist. So I think if you like someone's someone's product, why would you want to change it just because you're buying it now? You know what I mean? Like you're changing the essence of what you're buying.
But he did change it because he bleeps out the swears.
That's my question. How does that change it though?
Because
that's like either so for you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but I'm just describing. I'm an artist. Right. You asked me to paint a mural, and then you put a block over a part of the mural because this isn't something you want seen. Does that not change the art? The same way that if I'm a rapper and you told me to spit lines, give me 16, but you start to block out specific words.
So
then
we're assuming also they don't know or they didn't know ahead of time. Like if you really listen to it,
you tell me
they're not really swearing that much to begin with.
That's fair. Actually. I did notice there's a lot less swearing. Yes.
So I know they must have known it ahead of time. He for sure told them, hey, like they know he's all about Jesus and God right now. So they know for sure it's going to happen. So I think it worked out because I think everybody was on the same wavelength. Everyone that he had on the album was in the same wavelength.
May they bleeped it to keep his image of what he's trying to like you're saying he's more religious now.
Yeah.
So may it's to keep up with his keep up with appearances, but to keep up with his vibe or whatever.
For sure.
I don't know if he's more religious.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm not going to question the man's beliefs. But man, what was I going to say? What were we just talking about?
So I get what you're saying about the fact that if I go in knowing that when I paint the mural, you're going to block out the section. Sure.
Then I'm going to make sure that, okay, I know where he's going to block off. You know what? On that note, a ton of artists that I did not expect to actually rap about something ended up having to actually write versus swearing a lot. That's one thing I noticed as well. Like it actually 504, and I just spoke about him. I usually hear him on tracks. If you're into like drill, New York drill, Brooklyn drill, he's one of the top guys in that scene. But he's usually in for a quick like minute and he's out. Flow vibe, it's cool, but he's never really saying too much.
Yeah,
and he comes out on this track, and like I was in shock. I was like, "Is this the same guy?"
Yeah, because
like, it elevated the hell out of him. He rapped for 2 minutes.
And it was just like, whoa, this is completely different.
Yeah. 100%.
Again, fair. And for me personally, I don't care. I'm just telling you the arguments I saw.
Oh, for sure.
As to some people saying like, because some people like, dude, when it came out, I was in a like this like music nerd group, and I had written maybe on the Friday, I'll expect Donda after Detox. Like I wrote again.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone wrote on Sunday at like 10 a.m. I guess Detox didn't beat Donda to the market, and I was just like, nope. I'm sitting here listening to it right now. But the rest of the thread was just people arguing back and forth about the swears being bleeped, and I was just like, oh shit! I didn't even. For me, I didn't even notice. I was just like, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I was listening to the album and I barely noticed that he was. When I did notice, I was like, oh, he's bleeping, and I kept listening. Because it's not that matter of fact. I could listen to Will Smith. Who's complaining?
Well, I mean, it's
Will Smith album.
If I go into a Will Smith album, I know that's what's going to happen. If I go into a Travis Scott track, and all of a sudden Travis Scott is going out of his way not to swear, and he drops one shit in like that one line, and then but it's like the way they did it is like just like paused. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, okay, like because that was the first time I noticed it on the Travis Scott track. Because sometimes you listen to rap so often, you kind of understand the flow and you almost expect what some of the next lines might be. First time listening to that Travis,
their ad libs and everything.
Yeah, so I expected the next line for him to say something shit da da da, and then he goes something da da da, and then it's just like da da da, and I was like, oh. What is the lyric there? So I looked it up on Genius, and that's like I was saying when I noticed how many people have been looking up his album. Almost every track in the top ranked searches for Genius was his album, and that's when I noticed. I was like, oh, okay. So all these swears, because the way the lyrics are written, all the swears are just written as stars, like completely. You don't even know what word it was trying to bleep out, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's okay. Yeah. It just goes to show that there's so many more words in the English language that you don't need to swear. But I understand the needing to swear to get out an emotion and a feeling. We've tied swear words to our feelings so much that people almost expect that. You know what I mean? So I truly understand it, but I don't think it's a reason to hate on the album, period. Also, it's become such a fad to hate on Kanye, regardless.
Yeah, that's unfortunately one of the problems. I don't know if most people are hating on him because it's part of the culture now to be like, I miss old Kanye, or if some people generally don't like the album. I can say I like the music, but I didn't really love the presentation, and I didn't like the hype around it. And for the amount
that's a reasonable.
And for the amount of hype that I got, the album doesn't meet the expectation.
I get that as well.
A 2-year wait and 3 listening parties and doxing Drake by putting out his address and then deleting an Instagram post, like all the kind of weird, again, multi-artist things that he was doing that aren't part of the actual music. So
which album was where could I get my tire?
Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so I haven't really liked very many things he's put out since then.
Dude,
to me this is a welcome sight.
The only other song I like was Ghost Town on
Kid See Ghost. He had a couple tracks on there too that I like,
but not even
here and there.
His album, the one that was the week before, that had that Ghost with
There weren't really much I liked on that either.
No, I only like that one song, Ghost Town. The other track with Most Def that I was hoping would blow my mind, unfortunately didn't do much. And then what's the one from last year? Not last year. Jesus is King.
No, I didn't listen to that at all.
Yeah.
you listened to it? I actually haven't heard one song on it.
I've listened to it, but I never went back to it, essentially.
Okay.
And that's the problem.
Life of Pablo, I didn't really like. I'm just looking at it.
I
right
liked
now.
Life of Pablo.
There were a few tracks, but again, it wasn't like the full album didn't give me the feel.
Fair, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, that whole album from beginning to end, and that's what I'm saying. When he was doing albums like that, where I would sit and listen to an entire album and not even think twice about
all of the lights.
I would never dare stop an out. Like when you start listening to the album, you're like, you have to listen to the whole way.
Yeah, man, the whole thing.
That doesn't happen anymore, and that's and I guess that could potentially be part of the music culture because not many people.
It is.
Yeah,
we're not getting very many. A lot of the songs, and you'll notice as a theme, a lot of the albums that are like last the longest, that have the most mystique and whatever about them, or legends, are usually like the ones where people are vulnerable, and we're not getting a lot of vulnerable music anymore, like in a lot of genres that are popular.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of the reason why you can't really you can't relate to what they're rapping about as much. It sounds cool, it sounds good, but it's really for the moment. I can't be in my car listening to it all the time because moods change. You need someone, who's speaking something that you can relate to. I
Plus,
think that's
not poor anymore. That's part of it.
No, it is. They're just faking it till they make it. That's the biggest problem. A lot of these, come on, man. A new kid coming out and he has all these chains and all these. It's all borrowed money. It's all borrowed money. They don't. You can't just come out from your situation and be able to wear a $300,000 chain and a $500,000 this and that and drive this car and that car right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, we knew when they were doing that, they were also on the streets hustling and being rappers. Now a lot of them aren't hustling and show up with that, and the bravado is, you can tell the bravado's fake.
It's just, we'll lend you $1 million and we will make it back. It's whatever. It's all fake.
Yeah,
it's all fake until
like Daniel Hernandez. That the whole thing with Daniel Hernandez, and I'm not going to say his rapper name, but that's his whole thing was a gimmick that was based on the fact that he was faking everything. Trey Prince wrote they didn't want him to take the Drake L, talking about Kanye. Honestly, I don't know that he would have lost to Drake.
I don't think so either, man.
I don't think so.
You guys underestimate Kanye, if that's the case.
The fandom. Yeah.
He has international reach bigger than Drake. Kanye is a billionaire.
You know what, though? I would say it would have been interesting to see.
I would have loved to see it. Matter of fact, I love when, like, that's hip hop. That's like rap. That's like the competition. You shouldn't be afraid to like boast about your album being the best and let the fans decide. And if it doesn't go, the fans are going to stop listening to you. They're just going to say this guy won, and then you come out with your next best album.
Exactly.
But I can see how it's easy to shy away from that because people don't like losing.
And the other thing is, Certified Lover Boy might not have been a like hip hop album. Like a lot of people are expecting it to be a more R&B type album. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying. Yeah, it's not going to be. It's not going to really go up against. Yeah.
And the album cover is pregnant women, guys.
Oh my god, dude,
he's literally gonna make baby making music, and people are expecting him to go up against Kanye for what?
Yeah, it's not gonna be the same thing.
And now, because of this whole overhyping of Kanye's album and everything, Drake, that's free publicity for Drake now. He's gonna get more listens than he would have before this whole thing. He's not saying much. He's replying little things here and there, little snarky things, playing the game. So he'll get the views now just out of the curiosity of people going, well, I heard Kanye's now. Let me go hear Drake's, right? Versus
Lonely
competing for like
first week spins.
Money on Drake getting
money. I thought it said
well, he is typo.
Yeah, it's a typo. Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Money on Drake getting first. What is Kanye's? What's the total at right now?
But first week. The other thing is, and this is one of the mistakes that I think Kanye is making. Kanye doesn't release singles before the album comes out because he didn't release any of the tracks from Donda. No. And the way it works now for your album is, if you release a single from the album, the single release, the spins count towards the album when the album comes out. So if you release a single and your single gets 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 spins, by the time your album comes out, your album automatically has 3,000 spins plus whatever else gets added for the rest of the tracks, which I don't think is fair. I think the single should count as a single and the album count as an album, because by doing it that way.
But is the Kanye like, I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously there's pride in it, but I feel like Kanye at this point in time, like, he's comfortable that he doesn't care.
Oh no, Kanye cares. If Kanye lost to Drake, he would care. Yes.
Oh,
he might
okay.
not go public about it, but based on who he is
go
now,
public about it. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. He would probably go. He'd probably make an ass of himself if he lost to Drake. That's part of the thing. I don't know if Drake would do that. I don't think Drake would be a baby about it. But unfortunately, Kanye, the way Kanye acts sometimes, he's more vocal when he's upset about certain things in the industry, and then he would point at what he thinks is at fault for causing him to fall to Drake. But yeah, that's the thing. Okay, what were you reading, Toby? Because you read something and made a face like, oh shit.
Yeah, biggest single day Spotify streaming total for any artist in 2021
was Drake.
Was Kanye West this year, and then second biggest album debut in global Spotify history with 95 million streams.
Yeah,
but between Drake and Taylor Swift, so Drake's Scorpion at 132 million.
Yeah,
in its lifetime, right? Oh no, wait, no, single day, right? Was that what it was? Yeah. Oh wow. That's crazy.
I mean, hey, again, like I said, I don't think I don't like the rule because Prince wrote still is the rules. Sure, if you guys want to, if they want to set it up so that a single can count towards an album spins, by all means. That's not how it used to be counted. So I think you're like, because it's right now. For example, Billboard had a whole article every time Kanye has reached the record of consecutive #1 on Billboard 200. He beat the Beatles record when he had his 8th. He tied Eminem when he had his 9th. And if he gets the 10th, he's going to be beating people. So if he's beating people, but the standard by which those old albums were counted are different.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the part that doesn't feel fair. For example, the Beatles had to have people go to stores and line up to get their album. Everyone has Spotify on their phone.
Yeah. Exactly.
The access to the content is completely different.
Yeah.
So when they start counting the spins, because even look at it this way, even take Kanye's first album versus Kanye's this album. For Kanye to reach #1 back then meant people lining up and going into stores. You weren't streaming it. And now they can stream it. So the bars are, I feel like the bars
are different. We're not playing in the same ballpark anymore. 100%. No. It's the CFL and the NFL at this point.
The second the internet was created and streaming was done, like they couldn't compare those types of things anymore.
Yeah. Napster should have worked with the labels and they should have introduced streaming or some kind of purchase system. So
yeah, great praise. Kanye was barely rapping. You forget he was always a producer first. The way he started was producing. He just decided I could rap too, so let me try to rap on my own. What producer doesn't want to be able to rap on his own shit and actually have it be good and sound good and sell, right?
Yeah.
But that's what we have to remember is that like this is who he is. He's a producer first and an artist and a rapper second, but he's always an artist.
Do you think people give him more rope because of that though? Because I do get what Cray is saying. Like, can we always just say, more leniency? Like, end of the day.
When he raps.
Yeah.
Like the tracks he chose to rap on, he killed it.
Yeah.
So
he did do well on a lot of the tracks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm very excited to see what happens with Certified Lover Boy.
I can't give Drake the same amount of respect as I give Kanye just because I know how much work it goes into just making the thing.
Yeah.
If you're producing, and obviously with the help of different producers, but you're coordinating, you're asking, there's a lot of work that goes into that portion of it. And then on top of that, to find the words to go along with this vibe that you've created is tough versus an artist that gets the sound. Obviously, you get to pick which ones you like and which ones you feel your flow with, but at the end of the day you're not doing all that work that goes into creating that vibe to begin with. So I don't think they're even the same level of artist. They're both great, but they're not on the same plane.
But I'll say they're not the same level of artists, but I will say that we can't separate the final product because I can't say Taylor Swift who's writing her own songs versus Katy Perry who's buying songs, or when you start to compare them, they're both pop artists, but in your world where Taylor might be writing more, better example, Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas. Billie is writing most of her stuff with her and her brother.
Right.
But then you have someone like Katy Perry, Rihanna, all these other artists that aren't writing anywhere near as much content on their albums. But at the end of the day, they're both being considered pop artists. And that's that when the finish line is just the finish line, that's what people are saying. Like,
I understand. I get it.
So I get what you're saying.
My views are different in that aspect. I always respect the artist in terms of all that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from your success and what you've done ever.
Yeah.
That in itself is tough to do. Whether someone wrote the lyrics or not, for you to be able to actually channel what they were trying to express to begin with and have it resonate with the audience is a hard thing to do regardless of who you are. But I definitely, I tend to lean more on the other side.
Yeah. Hey, man, at the end of the day, I definitely like Kanye more than I like Drake. Y'all have heard me pitch my opinion.
I feel that.
I am interested in just seeing at the end when Certified Lover Boy comes out, what it's going to happen. Universal is definitely going to be playing up that they have the two biggest in 1 week. The sales are going to be through the roof, or at least the spins, because it's not really sales anymore. And there's going to be a lot of conversation about did releasing one album at the beginning of 1 week actually help the other? Because that's one thing. As much as Drake might not want to say it, this free publicity and people thinking about who's going to go where, that helps you, Drake. People are going to start. Some people who don't listen to Drake might listen to Drake just to compare. And that I know is going to upset some Drake fans to know that some of Drake's spins aren't because they're Drake fans. It's because there's a competition going on. So
we'll never know, right? Because you can't go into data and separate that either unless you're taking surveys of people that are listening. The thing. Right?
So do you want to put an asterisk now or an asterisk later? Because
guys, also by the way, I'm getting some shit talking going on here in the chat, but I do. He said I'm a variant or some shit.
Well, I don't even understand. Is the idea that you're supposed to be in love with Drake so you can't
that I can't appreciate Kanye? I am sorry, but I'm usually neutral when it comes to the artists that I like or don't like. I'll always whether I like something from Kanye or not. I already said I didn't like everything Kanye put out. Anyway,
I would find it weird if you came out here and were only like, it was a good album, but I just want to see what Drake has to say. Because then it would be like, wow, dude, you got to be able to have a conversation about something else. So I think it's
exactly.
Like,
and I'm looking forward to, honestly, I actually wasn't really looking forward to Certified Lover Boy just based off of the name and everything around it.
But now
I'm like, well, I guess I'm kind of still the same.
I'm going to say I'm 100% someone that I gave no fucks about Certified Lover Boy, but I'm going to listen to Certified Lover Boy on Friday specifically just to see which one I like better. I'm one of those spins. At least one of every spin of that album that comes out on Friday is 100% because I just want to see what happens. And sure, you can call it stands all day. I actually don't think
what's stan mean in this context?
Stans are like Eminem fans, obsessive Eminem fans.
Well, I don't. If it makes you feel better, Craig, I don't give a shit about either album.
I don't understand why I'm being called a stan because I've come on this show and talked about how much I don't like Kanye
don't get
like Drake. So
don't get stuck on the fact that I said he's a billionaire. It doesn't. That was just a passing. That was just a passing comment.
It's just funny being told that I'm a stan because I said this isn't his best album.
We're talking about Kanye because only Kanye's album's out. When Drake's album comes out, we'll talk about it next week. Get off our backs, goddammit.
Tune in next week. Trust me, there's gonna be a lot of Drake conversation. And if Drake released good songs,
if it's good, we'll say it's good. If
I'll say it's good.
That's it. But I'll give this album a 7 out of 10. Could be better, leaving room for improvement.
I can't even.
But the last few albums I would have given lower than that, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guys, view the right thing after that long conversation.
Where's our boy Skinsy? He left.
I know. I thought he was
where was that?
This guy, I always told you, he's like the people. I always say the people in the movies when they talk on the phone, they talk. They don't even say hello. They just pick up. Yo, so I'm over here today, and then they just hang up before saying bye. That's Skinny right there.
I mean, we do have to acknowledge though there is a beautiful baby to take care of. So by all means, homie, duck out if you got to duck out. We understand. So guys, we went from talking about something we kind of like to talking about a show that is not impressing us. Titans, Titans.
No. It's the same thing. There was very big hype. Seasons were great.
started out.
You got good. You bring me all into the show. You bring me to Crime Alley, and then you show me a dumpster fire.
Wait, you bring me to where?
Crime Alley.
Oh.
That is legit at the point of the episode that I'm like, this is great, and then just off a cliff, like right off a cliff.
We talked about how it started hot, and we're like, wow, they really just went into something and told us to accept it. So now we're in for the ride because you came in so hot. Like, let's do this. And then we are about to get to the destination, and it's starting to look like I thought we were going to Disneyland, but you just took me to like
the dentist,
the town fair, town fair. You know what I mean?
A town fair in a swamp where you get your teeth drilled by the dentist. That's what it feels like. How do you go from creating this insane story about? So okay,
hold on. Before you go on, and the worst part is, it's not even like the letdown is at the end of the specific episode. It's about 5-10 minutes in, and you start realizing
the disappointment is like 25 minutes long.
Oh my god, my heart dropped so early. I swear I couldn't finish the episode. Like, it's bad. I stopped. I was like, why?
Let's make it clear. I love Red Hood. This moved me. Let's
go back. I'll be right back.
Let's go back to the beginning, because I feel like we owe this to Dave, because Dave has been talking about how much he loves the Red Hood as a character for a minute. Even when we used to do That's Canon, the other podcast where we review comic books, one of his suggestions, which we all ended up liking, was when we read your run of the Outlaws with Red Hood, Arsenal, and
Starfire.
And then you gave us the other one, and then you told us, also check out the one with Bizarro and what's her name, Athena,
Artemis.
Artemis. Okay. Yeah. So, by the way, if you guys want to go check out those comics for a read, they're pretty fun. Those are better versions of the Red Hood. So, Dave, as a fan and Skinny, who's back, can you tell us how you felt watching this version of the Red Hood? So, give me how you felt before the episode, because you didn't
I was liking every aspect of the just in general. The last 2 seasons of Titans were always very impressive. The first 4 episodes were very impressive. I was excessively impressed, also shocked, also confused that they killed Hawk, but he killed Hawk. The worst possible way. He knew the whole time he was gonna die. So that was amazing how
like a countdown to his death.
They committed.
Yeah. I think Dave, unfortunately, Dave got so excited. His internet said, "Yo, we need to calm him down."
Yeah, we need to calm him down. We need to pause him for a bit.
I do want to point out for some people though that they did kill Donna also, because some people are just like, "Yo, they're really going for it this year," but they killed Donna last season.
But she's gonna come back. Whereas Hawk, I feel like he's like, I'm done being in superhero shows.
Oh yeah, he said that in an interview recently too, right?
I think he did. So it's
Alan,
Sorry.
Okay,
sorry. I think I lagged there for a second.
Yeah, you got cut
out.
Yeah,
sorry for that. No, so what I was saying is that you really show that between killing Hawk, doing the duffel bag scene with all the heads at the mafia table, I'm like, oh shit, you're really going for it. My only warning sign was when Batman killed the Joker. I was like, that's weird. That brought concern. Then this episode happened. Everything's cool. And then, like I said, the second they went to Crime Alley, it's like, well, I have to prove to Bruce that I'm fearless. I'm like, that was never a thing.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
Even if it's a thing now, it's just not a good motivating factor for any of this.
Yeah. And then the build up to just the concept of how he comes back alive, right? So first of all, this is old Batman. This isn't year 1 Batman.
No.
This is like right before Batman Beyond Batman, which I have a gripe with this guy's being Batman. Although I like the actor in general, I don't like his take on Bruce.
A lot of people are saying this version of Batman is a hell of a swing for the series to take.
Yeah.
He's like a Batman who's dealing with guilt, mental health. There's a lot of things going on.
It's like he's going out to pasture.
What I say last week, you get thumped in the head enough.
But it's also what we've talked about with regards to Batman. That is someone who's been blocking out, probably pushing those things deep down, and now in his old age they're resurfacing. There's nothing he can do about it. Things have slowed down. He's slowed down. He has no reason and no choice but to be faced with himself. in his latter years.
I get what you guys are saying. I just think I don't know if Titans, where he's a side character, is the world where you should do that with this big of a character.
But then you can't portray him as badass Batman, because then people are going to just want to see Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you need badass Batman to be an influence. Like right now, but
he's
Batman's
been
just
an influence when he was a tyrant 20, 30, 40-year-old. The nigga's 65. He's tired.
I don't see it. Anyway,
He's tired.
I'm with Skinny on this. The Batman, it's not about Batman.
Nah.
But
no.
Right.
It's about surpassing him. Like, fuck Batman.
Yeah. I mean, but we have to acknowledge the fact that most of the show we've seen so far is about getting out of the shadow of Batman.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nightwing
that
and
has
Jason
played.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it plays a major part in this episode because, like, the last episode was about Nightwing it being in the shadow, about Barbara being in the shadow, and then this episode is about Jason feeling like he's in the shadow. So as much as I get what you guys are saying, and I understand that you don't want to make Batman a badass because then the show might want to focus on him more, a la Gotham, where a whole bunch of fuck shit led to bad decisions, and we got a really shitty show. But at the same time, if you're building off the idea that every one of these characters is trying to get out of the shadow of the Bat, then making the Bat seem weak makes it a weird relationship with all those characters, from my perspective.
I hear you. I would say that they're not so much portraying, because everyone's saying it's a weak Batman. We haven't seen Batman. We're seeing.
I'm saying it's a weak Bruce. I don't like him. I don't like his interpretation of
Bruce Wayne is a hollow of a man. Bruce Wayne is a fucking playboy.
I don't understand. What are you expecting from Bruce at this age?
Yeah, Bruce Wayne at 65 is gonna be a human. He's gonna be like reveling into the things he's done over the years. He's gonna be a person.
He's gonna have regrets. He's gonna have things that come up and things he should have done. Matter of fact, I believe Bruce Wayne at this age killing the Joker more than I believe Bruce Wayne at 40 killing the Joker.
Yeah, but I was upset about the concept of him killing the Joker in the sense that it was important to like technically the actual storyline of Red Hood. So that was like that's where I was like, okay, you're like going to completely change the concept of Red Hood, which I wasn't necessarily fearful because let's be honest, Titans has taken a few swings away from the original content or spun it around to fit in their universe. And let's be honest, we've not really complained about an episode until now, right? Like that's the one thing I will give the show completely. But for me, there was just like, some of it was unbelievable. And like, for example, you're leading me to believe that Batman at this age doesn't know about a Lazarus pit in Gotham, it being in Arkham. Crane, who's supposed to be in jail in Arkham, is just freely walking around and finds it, has access to it, can use it. Then get Jason's body to be delivered there instead of a morgue. Hold on. Then Ra's al Ghul is not doing anything about this.
2 seconds. Not a cop. We don't know that the pit is under Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
We know.
I thought it was implied with how they were filming it, but I could be wrong. But regardless,
we know that there's a pit in Gotham, and that again, I do find it weird that Crane.
He was in his like, what's it called gear,
bro. We called him a freaking pothead and laughed at him the first time they showed him on screen.
Dude, what was that dance? What was that song and dancing?
That was on purpose though.
Like that was fucking
I gotta
stupid.
Say, they get points for the mislead because introducing him as this kind of weirdo pothead where we all laughed at him, and then flipping it for him to be essentially the new mentor who's psychologically manipulated Jason. And then got him addicted to a drug that he got Jason to develop for himself. Weird story.
That was a lot of weirdness, man.
A lot of weird, but
he's not that good.
I mean, this is one of those situations. Remember when who was it in Hush, the Riddler being the actual bad guy?
Yeah.
And us all being like, that's some bullshit. Yeah. This feels like that a little.
Yeah.
You ever seen that Batman meme where he's slapping Robin?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
He was slapping Jason Todd.
Yeah.
If you're like 100%. That much of an idiot, like
you know, one of the things I want to point out is you guys are defending Bruce in this, but at the same time, none of us like the episode. Whether or not we had problems with specific different pieces, we all didn't like the episode, and I think that's one of the most telling things.
I'm just happy it's behind us.
Yeah, terrible build-up.
Yeah,
I didn't care for killing Hawk for this.
No, two characters, right? Because we also lose Dawn, or sorry, Dove. We lose Dove at the same
pretty
time
much because she leaves, right?
Yeah.
Why? What was the point of killing Hawk for this reveal?
Yeah.
There was I didn't think I cared for a Hawk that much.
Yeah, it's a big letdown.
And why?
Until it happened, I was like, wow.
But why, if he has a beef with Bruce and the fear thing, how does that really translate to now I'm going to go kill the Titans?
Yeah, see, so that's one thing. They didn't really establish the connection between Bruce and Batman and this team as to why Jason would target this team to try and upset Bruce.
Other than Nightwing.
Because if it was the Outlaws like that, like in the comic book, I would 100% understand Bruce being like, holy shit, Jason's gone after the Outlaws, a team I built that, you know, these young heroes that I was mentoring, and now he's killing them off. It got my attention. But the fact that Gar had to be the one like, hey, Bruce, shit's going wild. Can you maybe get back here? Weird to me. That was weird.
We also joked about that.
Yeah, we already joked about, I think we joked about it last week, right?
But, but the good thing about the episode in like retrospect is that I found the good thing is that technically the first 4 episodes technically aren't okay. This is going to sound weird when I say it, but bear with me when I say it. This episode doesn't matter if you watch it. Like you could watch the first 4 episodes and just go to 6. So like if you choose to just be like, you know what, that didn't happen, and I'll just make up whatever I want, but know that him and Crane are working together, I could get through this.
I told you I didn't finish watching.
And you don't need to. What was the last thing that you saw?
The last thing I saw was Jason yelling at Scarecrow saying, he knows now. Tell me there's a plan. Tell me there's a plan.
Oh my God, that's like 5 minutes into the episode. That's not long at all.
I told you.
Oh, Jesus.
The moment I saw that, I was like, I know where this is going, and I don't even want to put myself through it.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you could tell. Your heart just slowly starts falling apart.
In usual sympathy for the devil type episodes, they give us a whole bunch of reasons as to why we should feel sorry for him, but I think one of the major issues with it is they missed the mark. They didn't establish any actual reasons why I would feel bad for Jason, especially after he's gone on a murderous rampage and is actively trying to kill people. And the B plot with Blackfire was an unimpressive waste. You like, you should have just done that as a separate episode. I don't fully understand.
What was
the B plot?
Utter garbage.
And I was
I'm not gonna watch this fully. So
Starfire's connected has a psychological connection to her sister. That's why she keeps getting those visions. Her sister was kidnapped. Well, sorry, her sister's being imprisoned by the U.S. government.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was last episode.
Yeah,
that was all last.
I mean, it's just the idea that I know that was last week, but I don't even think we talked about it last week. But it's all those pieces of the show that almost feel like they're being skipped over to focus on Jason, and Jason as the A plot isn't even the most interesting thing. And
man, if he was just doing this of his own volition, like he's like just mentally gone,
that would have been better than this.
But he's still himself. He still comes across as a kid that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Even in the fight with Nightwing, the first time they met, it was so lackluster.
Yeah,
it was did they pick the wrong kid to act as Jason Todd?
No,
that is actually that's an interesting question because
I think he does an okay job as Jason.
I think he did a good job as Robin, but not
if they knew this is where they were going.
Exactly. I think they chose a good Robin. They didn't choose a good Red Hood in this
at all.
Why unless he has to. I don't want to say he has to toughen up, but like he has to toughen up. He has to be grittier.
I don't want to call him a bitch, but he's a bitch.
You gotta do. Call a spade, you know? Like,
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, we went.
Yeah, he has too much of a baby face to pull off the
face. Baby voice, baby attitude. Get the baby out of here.
Because Scarecrow kind of like cowers.
Do you guys feel like maybe they picked that actor knowing they were going to do Red Hood, but they wanted to make him a sub to somebody, so they did get someone who has the baby face.
It's more believable if you have like a massive drone, like a Bane, and you're controlling a Bane. That's more imposing.
Yeah,
versus you're controlling a kid who's.
Why are you controlling a kid?
Yeah, I mean, Crane's a fucked up weirdo. That's what in this case.
It's a pedo, you said?
Yeah, well, well, dude, I mean, he's a teenager, and you're gassing him to keep him, and it's just like, come take your medicine. Like, it's some really creepy.
Oh yeah, that was really weird.
There's some really, really sketchy, creepy, like molestation type imagery they're using with Crane's relationship.
What happened to just getting henchmen? Like, what the fuck? Why is Scarecrow the fucking really?
It's so weird. You know, it took me a while to sign on board with the Riddler being a baddie, like to that extent. In the what's it called?
The new movie. It is him, huh?
Yes, not a spoiler at this point. Yeah, but it took me a while to get used to that, and that was more believable than the Scarecrow being this level of
the Riddler could be depicted as creepy. Like, you remember that cartoon where he had that long hair, and you're like, all right, what's happening here?
He's gonna be the big bad in the new Batman movie.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
The Riddler.
And the Riddler is one of those characters, like Skinny's saying, that they have a lot of play, a lot of room, because the riddles can be funny and just like it's like a little gimmick,
and then they can go Jigsaw.
Yeah,
exactly. But that's it, right?
So I heard something, or I saw it online. Batman investigator over here in the new Batman, and allegedly this is true, because the same person who leaked this information had information about the Batman trailer way before it came out, and a lot of the things he said was going to be in it was true. So apparently, this new Batman is going to be more along the lines of a horror.
I could see that because like Riddler horror turns him into like a serial killer,
and the fact that Skinny just said Jigsaw, the person said he's Jigsaw-esque in his and what he does, and the victims and the traps and stuff like that, and the riddles that Batman has to solve. Batman at this point, he's in a place where he is still trying to figure out how to impose fear in the world of Gotham, whereas like before he came in the scene, it was bad. When he came on the scene, it got even worse before it got better. So we're meeting him at a point where things are really bad, and he's just raging out.
People
and
aren't
obviously
scared, so they're challenging him, and he's having to respond with aggression,
and it makes him even angrier, and he's raging. So we're gonna really see a different take on Batman. We're gonna see the psychologically messed up Batman we've been talking about. I think based on
the stuff that they do a good job. Hey, if you're gonna add another Batman movie.
A horror and a psychological thriller, I am here for it.
I think he will.
I hope Matt he knocks it out the park. I hope so.
And then doesn't revisit again. Just don't go back. No sequel. Just leave it.
Well, that's the other news that came out with it, is that they're hoping to make a collection of Batman movies with Rob Pat as Batman. So not necessarily a trilogy, but I think Matt Reeves has mentioned a trilogy, but they're saying a collection, and it's going to be separate. I think DC has realized that when it comes to Batman, they have to do standalones.
They have to make it like Bond.
Yeah, they have to stop. Exactly. There you go. They have to stop trying to connect him or connect it to this other. They can maybe have another Batman that is connected, but they're gonna always have that standalone Batman.
Right.
Yeah, because it's too complicated to weave all this shit.
Sorry, man. When it comes to DC, I'm just disappointed. Like you've had so much time to do it right, and you just don't. So it's like, I don't care anymore. Like, sure, give us this movie, give us a sequel to Joker that we don't need, give us more Aquaman, give us Flash, whatever. Give us Michael Keaton as Batman 30 years later. Okay, yeah, sure. Just give us the fucking movies at this point.
I think another thing is the guy who's playing the Riddler apparently like kills it. Paul Dano. Apparently he's like,
I could see that because that fucker is creepy. That kid is creepy. Creepy. Like, he's done creepy shit on TV and movies for years. Yeah. He's got the creepazoid, like white boy, angry for no reason, might try to start a fight. Like, he's got that look in his face, and it's like,
let me see this nigga's face. Hold up.
You know who else has that face?
Recognize
he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. You look.
You know who else has that face? Jesse Plemons, the guy who was on Breaking Bad, and
yeah.
He's the villain in Jungle Cruise that just came out. That guy has the face of someone that like will sit at the bar, and one of his friends will say something to somebody, and he'll be the first to get up and try and throw a chair. And you're like,
a friend in Kick-Ass?
what?
Isn't he?
No.
No, I don't think it's the same guy.
Okay.
I know there are two
Where
friends.
is he from?
You mean the second friend, maybe?
Yeah, he's not talking about Aaron. Who's
because they're both Quicksilvers.
Yeah,
like
the two Quicksilvers. But he's right. Who is the third guy? Because there is a third friend in Kick-Ass.
I don't think it's him, but
I mean, there's more than.
I just recognize this creepy kid.
That's a whole crew, right?
No. But in the first Kick-Ass, isn't Aaron friends with another guy? Aren't they 3 in the group? Like they're
yeah.
friends?
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember right now. Jesse Plemons, you're right. Who? Now that we're on this topic, your top actors who have villain faces.
Oh fuck!
Oh shit!
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
that nigga.
That's a good one.
Holy shit! Right off the bat, right out the gate.
I don't even want to. Bell Biv Dafoe. See, that might have to be the top. Bell Biv Dafoe.
No, I still like the doctor. No, I still like Toby.
Bell Biv
Dafoe. We'll talk about it right after this. It's a
skinny. Bell Biv Dafoe. Come on now. That's a good ass title.
It's a contender. It's a contender.
It's a contender.
Who else? Willem Dafoe.
Well, he hit it out of the park so hard. I can't even think.
No,
of anyone else.
okay. Willem Dafoe. I can name like evil. No, come on, hold on. Willem Dafoe, freaking Jack Nicholson, homeboy who does all the voices for all the black characters, even Spawn.
Tony.
Nah. Yeah. Tony. He looks. Yeah. He looks a little.
What about
I find Steven Dorff looks a little evil.
Steven Dorff looks a little evil, yes.
Yeah, ish.
There's a reason he was that vampire.
Also, the shitty hobgoblin, what's his name? Who's now like canceled.
Oh yeah.
Wild evil face.
That wild. Okay. He's from Chronicles and shit. Yeah.
What about
he looks like he's possessed. That guy.
Yeah. Iwan Rheon, the guy who played
Game of Thrones,
the bad, the evil.
I don't know if he has. Because I watched him on Misfits where he was the loser.
I know.
He does look like a school shooter, but he doesn't look like a villain. Dave, have you ever watched Misfits?
He looks like a
Dave, have you watched Misfits?
Misfits
no, for real. You haven't watched it?
I haven't.
Okay, because if you watch Misfits, he's a school shooter in the making.
God, I want to see this.
The whole series is about him.
He is. I mean, maybe it's an exaggeration, just so you can understand. Just so he can understand. It's an unfortunate comparison, but it's made just so you can understand the level of depth this character goes into.
I'm not saying, hey, I'm not celebrating them. I'm saying he has the face of. We should be concerned.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be expecting. No, I think I'm just talking in terms of the show. I don't want to expect that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, he looks that way, but he is not one throughout the series. And then also ends up redeeming himself towards the end and being one of the most interesting characters in the series.
It's a sick show. It's such a great show. Rafe Fiennes, though. What about him?
Mm-hmm.
That's more. He looks more like a villain because they made him a villain. Like,
but you're saying he doesn't, because I don't see him playing a good. Think about it.
He's in the new Kingsman, and he's been at the
straight up. John Lithgow with dark hair is an evil motherfucker. If you see his older shit, he is an evil person.
Adam Driver, man. Adam Driver.
Nah, villain face, not really.
Not villain face, but he looks like he'll burn some shit. Yeah, like he might shoot.
Yeah, see, because that's the thing. There's different levels to villain face.
Right.
Like what you're describing with Adam Driver, I get what you're saying. Adam Driver is that guy that would like walk into a place and again, like Plemons, get into fights for no reason.
Yeah,
Adam Driver, Plemons. There's like a generation of those white boys, Hollywood, Shia LaBeouf, if he wasn't crazy, like those guys who just look like they're gonna start a fight.
Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy could have easily been stuck. He could have been stuck in villain face, but he somehow skirts both.
The guy from Dude Who Wears My Car, his brother, who is in
Ashton Kutcher or
not Ashton Kutcher,
Ron Williams, Ashton Kutcher,
Seth Green?
Seth Green. Michael, the other dude.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy
Stifler.
Stifler, yeah.
Stifler's little brother.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, who's you gotta give me the name. I don't know who's different.
I'm gonna find that.
You know who always looked like a dumb thug to me? Christian Slater.
Nah.
You always look like a stupid, like bum thug to me.
That just sounds personal.
Yeah, no, seriously. Any movie that he's in, I'm like, you look like a bum. You look like this thug who's just like a.
Dave has a flashback to when his ex-girlfriend broke up, being like, "You're not
Christian
no
Slater."
Christian Slater. Hey, dude. Sometimes the breakups don't make sense.
Like,
some girl was just like,
I would be like,
you know what that was? You know what that
20-year-old person. I don't care.
I feel like we're at the bar talking about everything, and Dave just goes out of nowhere. I hate Christian Slater.
I'm just saying. I found as a Christian kid, he always looked like a bad guy. No, but did you ever see example? You ever see Broken Arrow?
I've seen Broken Arrow. Yeah.
The only time I watched that movie, I'm like, you look like you're meant to be the bad guy the whole time.
I could see that.
Yes.
Christoph Waltz, classic villain face.
Yeah.
I say just intellectually evil is how I would say his face is. I wouldn't say necessarily.
So then that's what he was talking. That's what he was talking about. No, Christoph.
No, Christoph.
Okay.
Of course, fuck Christian Slater.
That
was personal.
That sounds personal.
That was personal.
I think when you're talking about different levels of villain face, then that's the people I'm naming probably fall into that other tier of like their face doesn't necessarily like what's his name from Hateful Eight, big actor, big forehead also.
The guy from Sunset Anarchy was a crossdresser there.
Yeah, exactly. We know his name. I don't know why.
Oh, Walter Goggins.
There you go, Walter Goggins. He's got villain face. Hard.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
So
and
that's the other
John Lithgow
face.
I said John Lithgow
is in the middle.
Yeah,
John Lithgow was in the middle.
Cliffhanger, like
Walter Goggins is on the far left if we're talking about extreme.
But it's funny
and then
because
on the far right we're talking like David Tennant. Like those guys are the other, like the far right, the far right and the far left.
The first Doctor Doom there from Nip Tuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
always looks evil.
That dude.
Oh, him. Yeah.
I can see that.
Big evil.
He's in the middle, but more leaning after John Lithgow towards Walter Goggins.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, villain face, not really. I give him
a
middle. I give him middle with John Lithgow. I don't really put him in any really. Yeah,
we're not gonna. Okay, well,
this could go a long conversation.
This is a good conversation.
We definitely will not get through all the other shows. So
Homelander.
I don't mind
Walter Goggins villain face or David Tennant villain face.
I don't mind continuing the conversation. I just want to know. Because we have Free Guy review, What If review, The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf.
I was just gonna say big thumbs up to Free Guy. Like that was amazing.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. Cool.
I finally got to see it, and you guys,
great, right?
It does not stop being good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's all I'll say. It does not stop being good, and like the twist between the reality and the video game.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, like that was actually. Although the main thing is to be in the video game, like the side story, which is supposed to be like, I was like, it was solid. I was like, this is great.
Taika Waititi at
the
end of the movie, good villain face. That's he has the face that you wouldn't expect to be a villain, and then at the end,
it's already weird though.
But
I can't quite put my finger on his face.
But you wouldn't expect him to be a villain, and then
Christian
at the end when he's angry, that's some impressive like face work, like.
Christian Bale to me always had a villain face, regardless of the fact that he is Batman.
No, Vigo more that nigga Vigo.
Oh, right.
Vigo, that nigga Vigo.
100%.
Okay.
The guy who dies in everything.
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean is on that.
You said the guy that dies in everything, and we all said Sean Bean. That's fucked up.
Great.
And he likes it too. He enjoys the fact now that when people see him and stuff, they expect him to die. He was doing this British car race show at one point where he's one of the crooks. And I remember the whole time watching the show being like, man, how are they going to kill Sean Bean? He's going to have a car crash. And then when he dies, it's like something stupid. And I'm like, that's how you killed him? That's not even impressive. I've seen him die in so many other better ways.
Oh, my God.
That's funny. Ian Eckhart.
I'm going to interrupt the villain face to just say The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf is fucking solid. If you guys are looking for a really good anime and like the Witcher lore, Vesemir's story, dude, that was one of the best animated projects I've seen in a minute. Like
Does it
up
look like
there
Castlevania in any way?
I didn't watch Castlevania, unfortunately. Okay. But it's up there with like the Mortal Kombat animated stuff that we've seen, and we were like, "This is so good! This is so much action! Cool. Such a well." This one is like a really well told story. It's not a wasted second. A whole bunch of great stuff about The Witcher. A whole bunch of great stuff about magic and everything. It was solid.
Is it a TV show or is it a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
And dude, the memes that are gonna come out of this. Tumblr is going to go I'm telling you, I even posted one where he's like, where like gold coins are falling and he's fanning himself with the wanted posters because he's just that bitch in the street, just like raking in the dough. It's such a good meme moment of him being like, yeah, bitch, I'm rich. And it's so funny. So I look forward to seeing what people make of these.
Toss a coin to your Witcher.
You know who has a little bit of villain face, but it is always cast as a hero? What's his name? Cavill.
Yeah, man, he
has some villain
face. Yeah, he was evil in Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
he wasn't evil. He was just there to hold Tom Cruise's character accountable.
He beat that ass. Boy, no,
beat that ass.
In real life, come on, he's so much bigger than Tom Cruise. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Henry Cavill walks into a bathroom. I'm not throwing up fists.
Henry Cavill. He's
seriously
massive. He's like,
I see that man walk into the. He
competes with Thor. Him and Chris Hemsworth are like massive jack.
Yeah. Well, Hemsworth is getting prepared for Hulk Hogan, right? That's why he got even.
Yeah. Oh,
he has
true.
Even bigger upper body.
Why is
he's almost too big as Thor. From what I've seen, right?
Yeah, the pictures make he got his arms a little too big. Like,
he probably shouldn't do that.
He looks like the action figures we had. Remember, they had the wrestling action figures that were all upper body, just like a big ass triangle.
Exactly.
That's how he looks. And I remember the first time I saw the picture, I was just like, I know why you're doing this. I don't think you should have done it. I don't know if this was the right thing to do.
Yeah, we'll see. He's a good actor too, though. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Are we going to talk about what if? Because we gotta wrap up in like 15 minutes.
That shit was depressing as fuck, bro. Like,
right? It was literally.
What the hell was that? These episodes keep getting more and more like, okay, you're gonna sit and think.
Multiverse of Sadness is what that shit was.
That's why T'Challa's episode stood out, because his was the only one that was
happy.
Like, yeah, so far.
And comedic. His was so comedic, like Thanos sitting at the bar being like, and then Okoye being, or not Okoye, but one of them being like, that's called a genocide. Like, those were great, hilarious moments. And
to be honest, I bet you that shit was going to be super dark and he was going to go back and Wakanda would have been burnt and all that shit, but they had to like lighten it up because he passed away.
Imagine
that they're like super dark and they're like in memory of like
no, they recorded it before he passed away, so that
hey man,
they can edit.
Dave, do you want me to take everything you've ever said on this podcast and make some weird sentences? Because we can play that game.
I don't want to play that game. I'm gonna get sued.
Oh shit!
This episode,
this is craziness, bro,
and the multiverse of sadness.
Yeah.
Quit after the second time; it doesn't work.
Right?
What are you doing?
Well.
How did he not away what it was?
Here's the thing. First of all, in the movie, was he supposed? She turned down his invite, right?
Yeah, she doesn't come with the party. That's what changes.
So in this timeline or this dimension, she does accept his invite, and he picks her up, and she ends up being in a car with him.
When he crashes. Yeah.
But then, what's not inevitable is the fact that he loses his hands. What's inevitable is the fact that she dies.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, even if he makes it. She dies once when they're dancing. I was like, what the fuck?
The one where he doesn't pick her up at all and she's depressed and then they show her building on fire. I was like, that is disrespectful. I didn't even pick you up, bitch. I'm drinking in a bar and your building still caught fire. Like, it was rude.
If he goes on foot anywhere, they get shot.
Yeah, that was crazy.
She dies in any way the universe can take her. She's going to die.
Yeah,
regardless. If he locks her in a room, somehow she's gonna run out of oxygen. She's gonna die of some, But I didn't believe her death
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
In what sense?
As motivation for him to go look for all the mystical powers.
Yes, I agree.
They didn't build up enough of his love. Yes, I agree with that.
But I mean, that's the
You
problem.
got half an hour.
Yeah.
But
that's my biggest gripe with that. Outside of that, you can kind of overlook it, but it's just kind of like, okay, I get it.
But I couldn't have watched this shit for 45 minutes, 47 minutes.
No,
just like,
it was just right.
Yeah.
It was just right.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of him actually also seeing Shuma Gorath, the tentacle creature that was in Captain Carter?
Well, whatever. A little deep cut.
It was interesting.
It was cute.
Okay.
That if anything, that links them a little bit. Like you were asking, that's the one that could possibly link.
Well, not at the ending though.
Nope. Man's in a cube.
Everyone's dead.
Yeah,
but he didn't kill. He didn't kill Shuma Gorath. Shuma Gorath is almost indestructible. He just
took parts of it. Yeah,
in the tentacles.
But I'm just saying, like, unfortunately, how that one ends, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, spoiler, because we've already spoiled a lot. But spoiler, this is one of the ones where it ends with the universe ends. It's that universe ceases to exist. Yeah. He's fucked with time so much that the like essence of the universe completely falls apart.
Like he's the only one left in his own protective bubble,
in a pocket,
and everything else is dark.
That's it.
He's destroyed everything because he pursued trying to bring her back to life, even though he was told multiple times.
He absorbed himself like Fisk and Dantalus. Like that's a deep cut. Any kind of Dragonlance people, but wow, why you do that?
How sick was it that the ancient one, the ancient one coming back and doing that? That was a cool little twist. I didn't realize that's what she did. Was splitting him in that exact moment in time, that diverging his timeline so that there is a good and a potentially bad Strange. Yeah, and we get to see Evil Strange. Curiously enough, we thought Evil Strange was in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hint.
Yeah,
maybe we will see Evil
Watch
Strange.
This guy show up. Watch him show up.
Yo, that would be crazy.
Oh,
that would be crazy.
Ooh.
I'm not saying anything.
No. Hey, man, I'm not. You know what, guys? Last time when we talked about it, I was like, guys, what are you talking about? This time, now that I've seen Evil Strange, and he's stuck in a pocket dimension of his own making where he has literally nothing left.
Yeah.
If he showed up and started trying to fuck with time in that universe, I'm not mad at that idea. Because
if our Strange, the Strange that we know, messes with time, and my man drops a Dragonlance reference here, deep cut. If he fucks with the timeline in our universe, I'm going to call it ours, then that means something starts to change in his universe. Yeah. So he potentially either has a way out or things start being reconstructed around him. Whatever it is, I would love to see an Evil Strange in a real live action.
So did any of you get concerned when he noticed Uatu the first time? And
No, I loved it.
Don't get me wrong. It was fucking awesome.
It was a weird fourth wall breaking moment.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be that powerful that you could sense Uatu the Watcher.
But he absorbed everyone in their cousin.
I was about to say.
He did that shit till his man them got really old. And he was like, yo, B, like, what happened? He's like, bro, I got old. Dog.
Yeah,
like, centuries. He said he was in there for centuries.
Yes. Ever. Yo, that was
you froze time so you could just chill, but me, bro, I chose to live.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeesh. And then Uatu at the end when he's just like, please help me, I'll do anything, scare them. And Uatu's like, no, you don't learn a lesson if I do that.
You don't learn a lesson. Stay here and die eventually.
Uatu has interfered before, though.
Not in this universe, though. This version of Uatu, we have like. If we're talking comic books, yes.
Uatu,
there was an episode, I don't think you were here, Toby, but the episode where I brought up that Uatu tells Hank McCoy, you disgust me.
Yeah.
Like, that's, he has spoken and told
Or when he cusses out Reed Richards.
Yes.
That was
but this one
deep.
so far.
When he did that, it was, who do you think you are to sense me? It was like almost like that kind of response, almost like, all right, you sense me, so what? Now I'm supposed to help you because you sensed me earlier.
Yeah. It's just like, homie, everyone and their cousin told you not to do this. Why am I gonna bail you out now? You knew not to.
But I didn't like that Obang.
Obang is the
sorcerer that led him to Cagliotti's books or library or whatever. Mm-hmm. I didn't like, or what was it? It wasn't Caglioti. It was something else.
Whatever. The library.
I didn't like that he just took him there and let him do that.
Well, he identified who he was. He knew right away that he was a
yeah, but you also knew the motivation, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He knows he comes in for that, and he just lets him do it. That was the weird thing to me. And I guess the sense was, well, I'm not going to fight you because I don't want to fight you. So fine, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. But at least try. Like, did you you ask him once? Are you sure this is a good idea? Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to go hang out over there. You do you, bitch. And then the world ends.
Yeah. Well, he's thinking I'm gonna die long before he does that shit anyway. So. Whatever you about to, whatever you about to do, B. Go ahead. You take your time.
But then you have Wong on the other side being Wong right off the bat, telling him before he even does it the first time.
Yeah,
why they just make
it's just like, yo, man,
I'm gonna put on reasonable character.
But he had to have known right away that it was a paradox. Like, it doesn't make any sense because the second you don't get the motivation of her, like in this version, right?
Yeah.
The second you don't get the motivation. Like her not dying, you don't have any motivation means that you don't have the time stone, which means like it doesn't. It's although yes, we all know that in the Marvel universe, it's like a straight line. There is no loop thing, but like right off the bat, it's like no, this is too paradoxical for you to like. You knew that was an absolute point.
There is a loop when you're using the eye. Time travel itself that they did is you can't. I can't. The past is still my future if I travel to the past. But what he was doing was he traveled to the past, which granted is still his future, but he's trying to recreate time with the eye, as opposed to them taking things out and trying not to adjust time.
Yeah.
Like they were trying not to change the timeline, which Loki does end up changing the timeline, and that's a whole other conversation. But still, that timeline that Loki helps change where he becomes a variant is still part of the main Earth 199999, that the cinematic MCU.
The funny thing is that all he should have done in reality was go at an earlier time and be like, well, I'm gonna go become the Sorcerer Supreme, and just like see if that worked.
Dude, anytime someone does this time travel stuff and only tries to fix that one moment instead of going back further and being like, bitch, I'm not taking you, stay your ass home. Anything else, but I know it's gonna happen no matter what. I know.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that he kept
should
replaying
go
this.
back in time and spend as much time as he wants with her.
Right.
Because you know on this day,
no
matter what you do, she'll die.
Yes.
A horrible thing to live with for the 20 years you guys are going to be. I mean, you have to start dating her in high school, so you might as well like start early.
Isn't that the theme of the movie Arrival? Isn't that what Arrival's about? Like their marriage doesn't work because they know. She knew everything because time for those aliens is the language,
right?
And she already knew, so the marriage falls apart because she already knows everything that's about to happen.
Yeah,
and she couldn't.
I gotta rewatch that movie.
Yeah,
that was a good movie.
Now to Google that. Boop.
Yeah, the way Arrival, like Arrival, is one of the most interesting concepts of time because it's like the way time works. Anyways, but all that to say, I agree 100% with Toby, and that was one of the things I was thinking. Either go back further to try and warn her, which. Fine if you can't do that because it happens no matter what, because the Ancient One explains it to you. Cool. Then go back further and just spend as much time with her as possible, knowing full well that at one point she will die. And that's just it.
And you might even realize dating her earlier that you didn't really like her to begin with.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You might
she does something like she like doesn't like brush her. She like eats awkwardly. He's like, man, happy I thought this.
I was gonna marry that. I was gonna marry that.
Oh my god.
She has man hands.
Yo, but honestly, like even in the movies, I know he really was infatuated with her and stuff, but like
infatuated is a strong word. I mean,
in the movie, they didn't even seem
that close. Like they didn't even want to kiss, like you know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah. Like... So is the other thing in this universe that they are actively dating still?
That looks like it.
Yeah. So that's the difference. It's not just that he takes her, but they are still actually in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's true in the movie, they don't seem that close.
No.
Like they're flirty, but it's not to the point where if she died, he would try and change.
It started out flirty at the beginning of the movie ish, and then it kind of just got tossed to the wayside, brought back at the end for the whole save me thing.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's like in the movie, it's like as if they dated already and it didn't work out.
Yes.
And in this one's maybe it worked out.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, he could always butterfly affect himself. Technically,
Yeah.
But
Whew.
Well, it's also to prepare us for Doctor Strange making horrible decisions in Spider-Man. So I think we are just being programmed to understand motivation at this point.
He's not smart.
Anytime you see Benedict Cumberbatch's face, assume a mistake is made.
Oh, damn.
That's why you have Wong always like, don't do this before he goes on vacation.
Face is a mistake, or you say
no. He's not Dan Harmon. His face is.
No, yeah, okay.
Boy,
You're right.
I had to do it.
We can move on now.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're burning through their episodes, but still watch them.
They're amazing. Honestly, they're really great.
Yeah.
I was surprised what they did with Rosa's character a little bit.
I liked it because they're throwing out all the shots they can at society before they leave.
Yeah. Rosa retiring as a cop and becoming a detective so that she can actively go after how the police treat people.
Yeah.
Great angle. Great.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shows that have people, police officers, and they didn't know how to handle the situation with marginalized groups. Mm-hmm. Brooklyn Nine-Nine found a really good way to do it.
They're killing it. Jake's accountability this season.
Yeah.
Woo!
Really good. So are we going to it?
Do it.
Geek news and rumors. Okay, we got 4 minutes. 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep.
Peacock cast new Will for Fresh Prince reboot.
That's cool. I saw the video for when Will was talking to the kid when he got it.
Was he happy?
Will Smith called you to say
that's true.
He was ecstatic. And the kid's name is Jabari Banks.
Yes, I saw.
Banks.
No way.
Yeah, his name's Banks.
Jabari Banks, damn.
And he cosplayed as Will in like a picture like a year ago for school. So like it seems like fake. Looks like he can do it.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Netflix waxes on another season of Cobra Kai. They got tapped for season 5 ahead of season 4 dropping in December.
I fell off after Miguel's fall.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
I still never watched that. Actually,
I have 2 episodes left in the 3rd season, and I was like, okay.
Is that after Miguel's fall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
so I watched the first couple, maybe. Yeah, it got weird for me a bit more at that point.
I don't like that new girl, and then the main girl fell off, and I was just like, "You don't do karate. What are you doing?" Bro?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's lost. Yeah. Okay. I guess we're all on the same page.
Yo, just like Riverdale. It's just like,
I call Riverdale River Fail, man. That show.
Ooh, yeah.
Is it even on anymore?
No, it is. Of course.
And my friend was telling me the other day they jumped ahead like 5 years.
Yeah, they did a spinoff, and then they got canceled.
No, not even just that. In the show, they jumped ahead 6 years. Archie was in the military. Reggie works for Hiram as part of the mob still or something. Veronica is married to somebody. Betty was in the FBI. Jughead's a successful writer who's now fallen on hard times. Like she was telling me all this, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? They were high school kids. And then
I'm glad though. They were hypersexualizing high school kids on this show.
Oh yeah, like the first episode has Archie shirtless and Betty drooling across the window, and I was like, "Gee, God."
That girl who's the redhead.
Oh, Cheryl.
Yeah,
high school is crazy, but like not everyone's out there, bumping uglies in high school.
Kids aren't wearing gym shorts like that. Let me tell you.
I think over half of like high school kids are less than half. Sorry, of high school kids are active. So like,
but actually. Also, there's a new stat. Kids are having sex later now. They're not like, how our generation was a little crazy about it because they kept telling us it's the best thing you'll ever happen in your life.
It's the same thing they did with us, where they're giving us 30-year-olds portraying 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
who didn't do that? OG Degrassi. Not the one not the Drake generation, but even the original.
Even the Drake generation barely did it.
True. That's fair. Yeah, they were all pretty much teenagers.
Normal.
Batwoman is cast. It's Poison Ivy.
Boring. Don't care. This is like the fourth.
Because we're nerds.
This is the fourth TV Ivy in like 3 years. Why?
I wish I saw this so I could have deleted it from our list.
Umbrella Academy season 3 filming has wrapped.
Dope.
So they're probably in post-production. I don't know how long we're gonna have to wait to see it, but
I hope not long. I really enjoyed the end.
The way it ended last season.
Yeah. With Sparrow and Bella, is that what it's called?
Talk about timelines. Yeah, man. Super excited for that.
And then we end off with unfortunate news, but I'm sure some of you have already heard. Rest in peace to Ed Asner, who have voiced J. Jonah Jameson on the 94 Spider-Man, Hudson on Gargoyles, Granny Goodness in multiple DCAU projects, Uncle Ben on Spectacular Spider-Man, Ed Wunsler, the first on the Boondocks, and most notably, the thing that a lot of kids, younger kids, would connect him to, Carl, the old man in Pixar's Up. And for all you old heads who love TV, and if you've watched the history of sitcoms and stuff like that, those CNN documentaries, history of sitcom, history of comedy, they talked about him because he was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big legacy from that series. So, he's done a lot. He's been around for a minute, and it's sad that he's passed, but rest in power. You were an amazing voice actor, and you did a lot of cool roles that inspired a full generation of kids, and you will be missed. So that's pretty much it. Did you guys see any other random news last second? Because I know sometimes you guys spot stuff that I miss.
No. I was gonna save the Batman tidbit for later, but I figured we were talking about it already, so I might as well.
Yeah.
Also, another villain face, Javier Bardem.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Paramount delays Top Gun Maverick Jackass Forever to 2022.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Crazy.
Oh, right, cool.
I wasn't really, whatever.
I know Top Gun is. Have it, yeah.
I'm sure it's, people. There's a lot of fans, so I'm not gonna say too much.
Oh, for me, it wasn't as much Top Gun as the Jackass Forever getting bumped again, because that's one of the few movies that I'm not a huge fan of those types of movies. But the last time I watched it, I think the last one, me and my boys did a whole barbecue. We hung out, we all ate and watched it together while eating ribs.
Oh, don't do that.
That's a mistake.
It was a fun hangout. Oh no, whatever, man. It was our bachelor pad. We didn't really care about if the place got messy. The couch ended up getting thrown. Like we were just like, whatever. You could have wiped your hand on the couch. I wouldn't.
No, I'm talking about more like eating and watching.
Isn't that
Jackass
the one where?
lead you to throw up.
Isn't that the movie where like homeboy farts into a tube and Steve-O has it over his face and the guy throws up? Like, that's wild. You're eating food watching that? What's wrong with
Right?
you?
That's what I'm saying.
Whose man's is this? No.
Solid stomach.
Oh my god. Hey, yo, man. I mean, it was fun because there were times where I literally was about to throw up and the guys were laughing at me. They're just like, don't do it. And I was just like, well, what the this is some of the most disgusting shit we've ever seen. And I have a belly full of ribs, so.
And I have a belly full of ribs.
They can still make Jackass movies now, the way kids are soft. That's funny.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
This just came in. Jordan Peele signed a multi-year TV deal with Universal Studios.
Sweet.
Universal Studios Group.
That's cool.
That's
we'll see more content. I still got to see Candyman, actually.
Oh yeah,
right. You said his name
asked us about it in the chat. So someone asked if we watch it. I'm probably not going to see Candyman.
I think they only addressed it to me because they know the rest of y'all scared.
Nope.
I think y'all need to stop saying his name. Okay.
Yeah, like you said it way too many times.
I said Candyman.
We need a mirror. Candyman?
You want me to say Candyman?
We need a mirror.
It's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay, man. He's gonna come after you. See, I don't know why Skinny's bouncing because he's gonna come after your ass, not my ass.
Alan Rickman.
Alan, you're still going on this?
And Hugo Weaving next to villain faces.
Villain face.
Alan Rickman that's the guy from Die Hard, right?
Harry Potter too.
See, Villain Face is also a good title for this episode. Villain Face, Belle Biv DeFoe.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Sadness.
Yeah.
That guy who dies in everything.
Yeah, that's also fun.
And I'll leave you guys with Michael Ironside. That's my last one. All right.
The worst part is he didn't know. Sometimes he wasn't a villain. He was just that asshole was trying to slow you down from doing the things you needed to do.
Like in Total Recall. That was exactly his role.
Yeah, almost not even a villain, but just
Steve Buscemi.
Nah, I don't see
like a clown.
What? Yeah, Buscemi doesn't
like
like
you want to say top clown face? I'll put him on
that
list.
I can see that. Has Buscemi played a villain that much?
He just looks like an evil person all the time.
Oh, okay.
He always looks like a conniving, planning mole rat type person.
He does.
Again,
I say with respect. I love him as an actor.
He looks like a rat person. It's like, what's your fucking
it's just like Gary Busey. You know, Gary Busey, at least in his heyday, he looked like an evil guy all the time. That's why he's always the bad guy.
Is villain face.
Yeah.
100%.
Wait, guys, we didn't say the most obvious one.
What?
Dan Harmon.
Boy.
On that note,
We're out, guys. As always a pleasure. Geektastic Cypher will be back next week. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow us on all our socials and whatnot. We love it when you guys watch the show and support. And we have a lot of fun discussing. And once again, don't forget, we'll be back next week. We'll definitely talk about Certified Lover Boy at the top of the show. And you guys can come and hate us as we explain why it may not have been better. And then
we'll see then.
We'll see then.
I hope you guys are still here, Cray Prince and Jay Grizz.
Yeah, you have 1 week to tell your boy to bring his A game because that's
it's going down.
Boo to both these albums.
Malcolm McDowell, villain face.
We out, y'all. Peace.